Or you on live?
All right, Shabbat Shalawam, Yasharala, from the Millstone, New Orleans, coming back at you with another live Shabbat lesson. But before we get started, as always, we're going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and Shabbat Shalom to the hopeful elect. So, last week Shabbat lesson, we went into how there's a great influx of believers, and they're coming to the truth. They find different camps with different off doctrines, and one of these off doctrines now is this Hebrews to Negroes documentary, and the creator of the documentary, whose name is Ron Dalton or something of that fashion. He's a big time scoffer. He's a Negro that knows he's a Jew, but he has no faith whatsoever in Yahawashi Mashiach, no understanding of the salvation of the remnant of Israel. And one of his doctrines is to teach Jake that millions of us need to get on a plane and go back to Africa and do what? I don't know. That's a completely nonsensical doctrine. It's not in the scriptures at all. So we're going to go through the scriptures and show you exactly how the children of Israel are going to be delivered from Babylon the Great. So let's start with that Revelation 1 and 7.
God, this is Revelations 1 and 7. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so, amen.
Fine. And, for you brothers, if you're not speaking, you can mute your mic so we have less feedback. But yeah, it says he cometh with clouds. Now, when you go into the scriptures, you have different things called euphemisms or figures of speech. The Bible's not going to say UFO. That's a modern term, which means unidentified flying object. And the chariots are identified in the scriptures. They're identified flying vehicles. All right, so sometimes you'll see the chariots called chariots. Sometimes you'll see them called clouds. All right, these are the vehicles of our salvation. These are also the vehicles of Esau's destruction. So if you believe you're an Israelite and you believe in the kingdom of heaven, which is the 12 tribes of Israel ruling on thrones, then obviously there has to be a great destruction of this current world, and there has to be a great deliverance back into our homeland, which is Jerusalem. So if you don't believe in the chariots, you have zero understanding of the Holy Bible. That's an integral part of this ministry. That's an integral part of our faith. All right, you have to know, knowing you're an Israelite is not the end all be all. You have to know who you are. You have to know who your enemy is, which is Esau, not Japhet. All right, that's another damnable heresy. And you have to know how we're going to get out of here, which is the chariots. You have to believe in that. And there are certain prophecies that have to take place in order for the kingdom of heaven to be established. One of them is the chariots delivering the sons of Israel back into our homeland. That's all throughout the scriptures. So if you're following someone that's telling you that the elect of Israel need to get on a plane and go back to Africa, that's someone that doesn't believe in the scriptures at all. We can get that, Luke.
This is Luke chapter 21, verse 20. Says start at 24 or 25.
You start 24.
It says, and they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
Now, what color are those letters, Art?
Red.
These are red letters. So this is Yahawashi speaking. He's speaking of prophecy, which the word prophecy means to say before. And the Bible is full of prophets that are speaking things before they happen. And this is Yahawashi speaking about our temple being destroyed in 70 AD and this mass exodus of Israelites fleeing into Africa, North Africa, West Africa, West Europe, different parts of the world we fled into after our temple was destroyed. And it tells you that Jerusalem, which is a people before it's a place, Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. So even though this happened 2,000 years ago, Esau, he went down for a brief moment. Jake took over the Roman Empire, and then you had the something called the Renaissance, which means rebirth. So we've been in the time of the Gentiles. We've been in the time of these heathen ruling over us, and this is how we're going to be delivered. Keep reading.
Verse 25. It says, and there shall be signs in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars, and upon earth distress of nations, with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring.
Right, and this is talking about the times we're in right now. This is Yahawashi telling us what's going to happen right before we get out of here. Keep going.
Men's hearts failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken.
Right, the powers of heaven going into the elites, the society that they've created, and also literally in the sky. There's going to be all sorts of strange calamities, and the chariots again making an entrance into the house of the thief. And we brothers see chariots all the time. Almost every time we fellowship, we see chariots, man. This is something that's very real. It's not a conspiracy theory. And matter of fact, keep reading. It's going to tell you.
It says, and then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory.
Right. Then shall they see the Son of Man, which is Yahawashi Mashiach, coming in a cloud with power and great glory. Now, some people will read this, they'll read verse 25 or verse 24, and they say, well, look, that happened in 70 AD. The Lord didn't come back in 70 AD. All right, we were trodden down, and then we were scattered across all nations, going back to the curses of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, and the 64th verse. So after the transatlantic slave trade, after Babylon the Great, which is America, being built up, that's the time of the full time of the Gentiles. And it says here, then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. And that's what you're supposed to look up for. That's why it says, read the next verse.
It says, and when these things begin to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh.
Right. It says, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. Our redemption is going to come from the sky. Yahawashi is going to come back, as we read in Revelation, the first chapter. Every eye shall see him. There's going to be a sound like just a huge sound that you've never heard before. It's going to echo throughout the world. Everyone's going to stop whatever they're doing. They're going to look up. You're going to see it. The earth is going to be covered in chariots. That's how Yahawashi is coming back. It says with power and great glory. And this guy, the Hebrews to Negroes documentary, they're not telling Jake how they're going to get out of this condition. You're telling me I'm a real Hebrew. These people are the fake Hebrews. And then I should get on a plane and go to Africa. What kind of doctrine is that? What do you do with that information? Like, okay, I'm a Negro in Africa now. Oh, no, I'm a Jew in Africa now. What, a Jewish African? What is that? That's not somebody that's ruling on 12 thrones. That's not somebody that's putting the heathen in slavery. That's not someone that's teaching the law, statutes, and commandments to all people. That's not someone that's been made perfect. A Jewish Negro in Africa is not a perfect being. That's not a priest. That's not a king. That's just an American Negro with a passport. What is that? That's not our gospel. That's not the gospel of Yahawashi Mashiach. That's not what drives you to wake up and meditate on lessons and fellowship with brothers and become a man of the Lord. We should just go to Africa. That's a bugged out, played out Pan-African doctrine. And Jake, really Esau set up Jake's in these last days. You notice there's certain doctrines and certain Hebrews that become famous and go viral, because that's what Esau wants you to believe in. He wants you to believe in a doctrine that keeps America going, that keeps the so-called white man in power. He doesn't want you to believe in a power above him that can make his Air Force look like, just some ancient, just bugged out Stone Age technology, man. He doesn't want you to believe in your true power. He doesn't want you to believe that you're about to rule over him. So he'll tell you pop up some Negro to tell you that you're just true. And then he'll try to have your mind focused on Africa instead of Jerusalem. That's our homeland. Kalai, you got the Thessalonians, and any brothers got anything that's, let me know.
God, this 1 Thessalonians chapter 4 in verse 16. It says, for the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of Yahawah, and the dead in Hamashiach shall rise first.
Right, that's another part of prophecy. Yahawashi is going to descend from heaven, from the sky, with a shout, and there's going to be that sound in the Hebrew, come out from my people. There's going to be a huge trumpet. The whole world is going to see and hear the second coming of Yahawashi Mashiach. It's going to be a grand entrance. It's not going to be, I forgot to set my alarm. I missed the second coming. Oh, you're not going to have to hear.
Real quick, Kent. Kalai, you can mute your thing. I'll see if that's you real fast. It's just.
I'm going to read the precept again.
Read verse 16 again.
It's 1 Thessalonians chapter 4 verse 16. For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of Yahawah, and the dead in Hamashiach shall rise first.
Right. It says the dead and Hamashiach shall rise first, which is another huge part of our faith. All of the people that died in the ministry, all of the believers that believed on Yahawashi and went back to the spirit world, they're going to rise first. They're going to be in the chariots. So if you don't believe in the chariots, how do you break this down? Read verse 17.
God. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air, and so shall we ever be with the Lord.
Right. Now, either you believe that or you don't. This is not something that's debatable. This is very plain. It says, those of us that are alive, those of us that are on the earth, and those that are in the spirit world, we're going to meet together with Yahawashi in the clouds. And again, those clouds are talking about chariots. We're going to meet the Lord in the air, and so ever shall we be with the Lord. What does this have to do with getting on a plane and going to Africa? First of all, there's Israelites in Africa already, and the ones of them that are of the elect, they're going to be gathered from Africa. It tells you that in Isaiah 11. So what are you doing? You have a faithless doctrine, an anti-Messiah doctrine that you're trying to push on people that don't have faith. And a lot of our people, they don't know what's going on. They just know, okay, well, Jesus was black. I'm a real Jew. And that's it. They don't actually, they haven't heard the doctrine. Even though they know they're Israelites, they haven't heard the true gospel of Yahawashi. So all these guys are false prophets, and there's an actual true doctrine that you're supposed to take heed to. Otherwise, you're going off. Doesn't matter if you a nigga that believes he's African American going off, or a nigga that knows he's a Jew that's going off. You still don't believe in Yahawashi. So what are you doing?
It's more or less the same doctrine.
Yeah.
They just know that the Israelites. They just know Deuteronomy 28 and 68. The book of Deuteronomy, the 20th chapter. That's all they know. When it comes to living and teaching the sound doctrine, that's what they follow.
Yeah, it's basically the black conscious community with fringes on. You're teaching this pro-black movement, but instead of calling yourself pro-black, you're saying you're an Israelite. That's a sleight of hand. It's like you have a deck of cards. You hand somebody this card, that card. You shuffle the deck to distract them. It's a scam, man. And this is another example of grievous wolves, which we went into last week. Jake, instead of selling this product or that product, now he's selling a DVD, or he wants likes and subscribes. Jake is ultimately trying to set himself up as some kind of prophet or leader. But where is he leading you? If he's not leading you to Yahawashi, he's leading you to destruction. You want to say something?
Con, you unmuted?
You good?
Oh, yeah, Con. I got your precept out. There's Isaiah 26 and 20. It says, "Come, my people, enter into thy chambers and shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself as it were for a little moment until the indignation be overpassed."
God, that's plain. It says, "Enter thou into thy chambers." All right, the chariots, they have wings, they have windows. Or going back to Revelation, we're going to see the destruction of this place, which is another reason to stay here, so you can see the downfall of your enemies. All right, the place of our torment, the place of our destruction, the place that, where it was said we were not his people, there shall we be called. This is talking about here, Babylon the Great. You should want to see the downfall of your enemies, the downfall of these prideful people. And when that happens, when that deliverance happens, there's going to be a great, it says, "Come up." Read that again.
It say, "Come up, hear my people. Come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers and shut thy doors about thee. And hide thyself as it were for a little moment until the indignation be overpassed."
Right. And how do you hide yourself? All right, spiritually, you hide yourself in the tabernacle of the Lord, doing the work, believing, having faith, but physically, we're going to have to hide ourselves in those chariots from the destruction. It's going to tell you in the next verse.
It says, "For behold, Yahweh cometh out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth for their iniquity. The earth also shall disclose her blood and shall no more cover her slain."
Right. There's a great indignation. See, what Jake doesn't understand is that the Lord is pissed off with this world, man. The earth actually has a heavy judgment coming to it. And it tells you in Revelation 3 that hour of temptation is going to try the whole earth. It's not going to just try America. So you leaving America to go to Africa doesn't mean you're escaping the judgment of the Lord. The only way to hide yourself from the judgment of the Lord is to have that dawah spoken of in Ezekiel 9:4, that exemption from judgment, which is the blood of Yahawashi on your doorposts. If you don't have Yahawashi's blood covering you, you're going to be covered with your own blood. You're going to be covered with your family's blood. All right, blood is going to completely, when the scriptures speak about the blood in these last days, there's so many metaphors that it uses, like the, blood up to the horse's bridle, blood, 20 furlongs long. It's just that there's going to be a huge major judgment that if you're not covered with Yahawashi, you're going to be destroyed. It doesn't matter what plane you get on. You're on Spirit Airline. The Lord can make your plane crash. How are you going to escape the judgment of the Lord in a plane? The Lord controls all things, man. So, the best way to hide yourself is with Yahawashi. You got it.
I'm gonna say this too as well. The deliverance is not only going to happen here in America. Israelites going to be getting taken up from everywhere, man.
Done.
All right, whether it be in Africa, they have Israelites in Africa. In Africa, at this day, we believe have, the elect people in it, man. Okay? So there's need no run or move. If you're elected, you're going to be taken up where you are.
Gone.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, that was a great point. Again, going back to Isaiah 11, that you have Israelites among the Hamites, and they're going to be delivered. So, you having a faithless doctrine, trying to escape judgment, or you trying to create your own deliverance, your own salvation, where's your faith, Jake? America is really just completely taking Jake's faith away. And anything higher than Esau, any power that's higher than the so-called white man is craziness to Esau. It's craziness to Jake. Like,
that also. Oh, Salakia, you was talking to me?
That looked like Bayan had a precept.
Yeah, I got a precept, but you can run it, yeah.
Yeah, I just got a quick thing. That also, basically, his doctrine upsets prophecy, because how the Lord going to gather the elect from other places if you got to go there to be gathered? Like, it's like, what about the Lord delivering, his elect from the four corners of the earth? What happened to that? So the meeting place for salvation is in the heart of Africa? What is Wakanda? Like, what are we doing here, man? Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, that's Jake's kingdom of heaven is Wakanda. When you really get down to what Jake believe, when you really Jake, when you, like you say, we got to get to the bottom.
The woman king. They're looking for the woman king salvation. They're looking for. They're gonna start saying Yahawashi probably, is the woman king, but that's neither here nor there, bro.
Yeah, that's coming.
That's coming.
The Savior's a woman. All sorts of men.
It's coming.
Yeah, that's definitely coming. You got it, Bayan.
Khan. I got Isaiah 52:11, and Baba Gashaf, I can read it in the KJV and the NLT.
You got it.
In the KJV, it says, Depart ye, go ye out from thence, touch no unclean thing. Go ye out of the midst of her, be ye clean that bear the vessels of the Lord Yahawah. For ye shall not go out with haste, nor go by flight. For the Lord Yahawah will go before you, and the power of Israel will be your reward, your reward. And this is it in NLT. It says, get out, and leave your captivity where everything you touch is unclean. Get out of there and purify yourselves, you who carry home the sacred objects of the Lord Yahawah.
Well, you muted, huh?
You muted.
Salak, what's the last thing y'all heard? Salak.
It was a few seconds ago.
Khan, I just read the NLT. Salak. This is Isaiah 52:11. It says, get out and leave your captivity where everything you touch is unclean. Get out of there and purify yourselves, you who carry home the sacred objects of the Lord Yahawah. You will not leave in a hurry, running for your lives. For the Lord Yahawah will go ahead of you. Yes, the power of Israel will protect you from behind. So like you got it.
Well, you got it.
No. What I was going to say was that us of the doctrine that you think that we have to fly out of America, fly out of Babylon, and so on and so forth to escape everything. That's something that's impossible. That overall, that means that your faith is very little, because we know that Yahweh Bahasham Yahawashi is coming down and to protect us from us. So we know we can't run away from it. What we have to do is that, first thing we have to deal with whatever we're going through, but also have the faith that Yahweh bahasham Yahawashi is going to come down and protect us from everything. Lord willing, we be those men.
God. Hey, Kabar, get Jeremiah 51:6 to back up Bayan.
I got a precept, brother.
Okay, you got it.
That is Micah 4 verse 10. Be in pain and labor to bring forth, O daughter of Zion, like a woman in travail. For now shalt thou go forth out of the city, and thou shalt dwell in the field, and thou shalt go even to Babylon, which is America, right? There shalt thou be delivered. There the Lord shall redeem them from the hands of thy enemies.
That's plain.
That's plain.
The main deliverance is going to be in Babylon the Great. So what is Jake talking about, man? Which, like the brother Kaya said earlier, there's going to be Israelites delivered from the four winds. It tells you that in Matthew the 24th chapter. But the core of the deliverance, listen, this is going to be a spectacle. This is going to be the greatest deliverance the earth has ever seen. If a brother can get Jeremiah 16, it tells you that this captivity.
I'm holding that up.
Oh, you holding it?
Yeah, I'm holding it.
That's beautiful.
Yeah,
I'm holding precept too.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Kyle, if you can get Jeremiah 51:6 to back up Bayano, we'll get that real soon. Let's just bring this out real quick.
It's Jeremiah chapter 16, verse 14.
Hold on. Let me get that. 'Cause, yeah, when people hear deliverance, they hear we're going back to Jerusalem, we're leaving America. They don't understand that this is going to take place by the chariots, which is why it's so important to harp on these things, man. You know, the elders say all the time, you know, earlier in the ministry, they were kind of shy away from pushing the chariots, but the prophecies don't make sense until you include the chariots, because then you have to ask how. So wait a minute, America's going to be destroyed by missiles. What are we going to be doing? That's what they ask us on the block all the time. America's going to be here. What are you guys going to do? What are y'all going to do? Well, Lord willing, we're not going to be on the earth. We're not going to be physically on the ground when those missiles hit. Otherwise, we finish. What you got it out?
God, this is Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 6. Flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense.
Right. It says flee out of the midst of Babylon. That's talking spiritually. How are you going to flee Babylon physically and still be a nigger and escape the judgment of the Lord? The scripture tells you that you're going to be judged as a recompense for the Lord's vengeance. So you telling me you could be a wicked nigga, breaking all the commandments, having no faith, whatever, then get on a plane and escape the Lord's judgment? Is that how little you think of the Lord? Fleeing Babylon means to come out of her, like spiritually, to escape the doctrines of this world, to most importantly stop worshiping the so-called white man as a god. He's not a god, he's a man, and he's a heathen. He's not even what are you doing? You worshiping Christianity, which a lot of you now, you worship black Jesus or Yeshua instead of white Jesus, and you think that that's some kind of, no, man. You have to worship Yahawashi, Yahweh bahasham Yahawashi, all right, the Father in the name of the Son. That's fleeing out of Babylon, coming back into your heritage and really living this thing, not just being a nigga in Africa. But you got it, Kushal.
This is Jeremiah chapter 16, verse 14. It says, therefore, behold, the days come, said Yahweh, that it shall no more be said, the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from all the lands whither he had driven them. And I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers.
That is beautiful. It says there's going to be a great deliverance from the land of the north, which is Babylon the Great here in America, and also the other lands that we've been driven to. And this prophecy is important because it tells you that the deliverance out of Babylon the Great is going to be so incredible that we're not even going to talk about the Egyptian deliverance anymore. Now think about the book of Exodus and how miraculous that deliverance was. The Lord is promising that there's going to be a deliverance that's so epic and amazing that it's going to completely eclipse what the Lord did in ancient Egypt. Now, how does that translate to you getting on a plane and going back to Africa? That's nothing. There's nothing miraculous about that. The Lord is doing all of this to magnify his name on the earth. So you trying to make your own deliverance, your own salvation, Where's the glory in the Lord? Jake just doesn't have any faith, man. You have to have faith in an epic second coming, a grand entrance of Yahawashi Mashiach. That's what's going to happen. And it's described all throughout the scriptures, mainly second Esdras. But he tells you how he's going to come back, what he's going to do. And either you believe that or you don't. There's no, well, we can agree to disagree. No, you don't believe in the scriptures. Point blank. You got a Samakia?
Yeah, it's Revelation 11 and 12. And it says, and they heard a great voice from heaven saying, come. So like it's saying unto them, come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. So yeah, the 144,000 and the 1/3 of the nation Israel, man, we're gonna be all caught up in that same cloud at the same time. You know, you're not gonna have the elect. You know, you got 2 over here in this chariot, 5 over here in this chariot, 10,000 in this chariot. No, you know, like saying that great deliverance is gonna be one time with the elect, man, and the 1/3 of the nation Israel. And that one cloud is talking about the one Esdras saw, you know, Yahawashi sitting on top of you know, say it was as big as a mountain, you know, standing on top of that humongous ass chariot, like the same one in Independence Day, man. You know, so we all gonna be caught up. It's not gonna be going around, you know, just picking, you know, the remnant up here and there in little patches. We all gonna get it caught up at the same time. Lord willing, we are that number. You know, it said, and the enemies beheld him.
Yeah, Jake thinking you talking about an Uber, huh?
Kind of, right? Yeah, we all gonna be sitting up looking, waiting on different chariots to come pick us up. You know, Lord willing. You know, we are that number.
No, this is the only thing that can pick up a large amount of people at one time. 144,000 people like that. You know? You don't know that. And simultaneously different parts of America and different parts of the world, man.
Yeah, good. Yeah, like I said, and that's talking about that one cloud, man. That one big father ship. You know, not the Wakanda ship or nothing like that. Like we're going into, man.
Really, I'm gonna say it's gonna be a bunch of ships, because the angels are gonna be getting it on with these fighter jets and all that other stuff, and they gonna have other chariots delivering the elect, man. All right.
The war in heaven.
All right.
I got you something, bro.
Oh, go ahead. Well, go ahead. Make your point too, to Maya Shalaka.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know, like I said, it's gonna be the fight in the heavens. You know, it said the same way Yahawashi left, same way he coming back in a cloud too, man. You know, he's not gonna be like Mario and Luigi just floating around in a cloud and come down and, you know, picking the remnant up. You know, it's actually a type of vehicle, you want to call it that, you know?
I was told that to back you up on that.
Okay, yeah. Like when we say it, it's crazy. But, you know, you got the so-called white man all over the news saying, oh, you know, there's UFO sightings and all this kind of crap. Everybody soak it up and believe it, though. You know? But y'all gonna see here real soon, man, who was right and who wrong. You got it.
You had to call y'all the precept you mentioned?
Yeah, con. So this is Acts chapter 1. I'm gonna start at verse 9. It says, and when he had spoken these things, while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight. And it's talking about Yahawashi. And it goes on to say, and while they looked steadfastly toward heaven, as he went up, behold, 2 men stood by them in white apparel, which also said, ye men of Galilee, why stand ye gazing up into heaven? This same Yahawashi, which is taken up from you into heaven, shall so come in like manner as ye have seen him go into heaven. So like the brother was saying, the Yahawashi, he was taken up in the chariot or in the cloud, as it described it. He's gonna come back the same way in the cloud or in them chariots. That's that vehicle of choice that the Lord has chosen.
You got it.
But you got it.
That's a good point the brother made. This Isaiah 60:8, and I found something interesting in another translation. It says, "Who are these that fly as a cloud and as the doves to their windows. And in another translation, which is the you were serious. I'm gonna get the translations up. It should be the third one. But I got it. It came up. It says, and what do I see flying like clouds to Israel, like doves to their nests? So the clouds actually gonna pick the Israelites up. Israel, remember that Israel are people before a place, man. So where they're placed at, they're the people that has to be gotten. All right, the 144,000 coming to 12,000 of the tribe of Israel, along with that number that John couldn't number. These people are gonna be gathered, all right, by clouds, man. Israel, all right. The elect, the 1/3 of Israel, gonna be taken up, man. Like how y'all said, man. That's why people wonder at this. That's why I say, who are these that fly as a cloud and that's dove to their windows, man? All right, because it's a strangeness to this salvation, man. This is actually a secret, the way that the Lord is going to pick us up. You don't get a regular everyday person to be like, oh yeah, you know, the clouds. And when you say a cloud, they're going to think of a white, puffy looking different type of shaped pillow in the air. You got to think of what you know these descriptions is talking about. It's almost in a metaphor, man. All right, you got it.
Yeah, I got a precept backing you up, Kayak. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5 and verse 2. It says, when they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all they look for.
Yeah.
And why is that? Because the Lord coming in something that they've been questioning for years and years. All right, they've been doing studies. They've been, looking out into the depths of the heavens, trying to, do surveillance per se on the chariots. But the Lord gonna bring these chariots up close and personal, and they gonna sit there, all right, as pursuant to the book of Zechariah, the 5th chapter. All right,
They here.
They here.
No,
they here.
They in the house of the thief. But they had to paint that narrative that this was green big-headed bugs. Because if the people find out that these chariots are for the children of Israel, they're going to come back to their power, man. They know their salvation is nigh. That's why it says, look up for your salvation, draw it nigh, meaning it's close. So they got to paint a black narrative, a bugged out UFOs, this the enemy type of narrative, so the people can get away from their salvation. Like, if you don't believe in your salvation, you ain't getting it. That's another thing. All right, those that believe is gonna get this, man. All right, that is appointed for with the white robes and salvation, man. You got it, bro.
Yeah, there's no way to believe in salvation without believing in the chariots.
There's no way.
It's like believing in the Bible without believing in Yahawashi. I'm an Old Testament Israelite. Well, Yahawashi is all throughout the Old Testament. The chariots are all throughout. Like, this is one doctrine. The same thing Apostle John saw, Moses saw. Everything that Peter wrote about, Isaiah wrote about. Like, there's no one prophet in the book that was just bugged out and everybody else believed in something else. Like, no, man, this is all one doctrine, and we believe in that one doctrine, that 100% true. But what you said, Doc?
Nobody was wavering in their own thoughts.
Yeah, the Lord said He's gonna do it. You're gonna do it. As simple as that. You either believe or you don't. Kabar, if you can get Isaiah 31:5 to back up. You was holding it, you said?
I just want to make a quick point because Kaya said about it that paraphrase of scripture where it said, look up your redemption draw of nigh. Never think about it in Deuteronomy 28:68 where it says, no man shall buy you. You have to be, sold as bondmen and bondwomen. No man shall buy you. And we know that word buy goes into being redeemed. So literally, when it said, look up your redemption draw of nigh, your redemption or how you're going to be redeemed or brought back is going to be by way of the chariot.
Beautiful.
But you got it out.
Yeah, if no man's gonna buy you, why would you look to an airline to save you? Why would you look to a nigga making a documentary to save you? That's a beautiful point. Your redemption comes from above. And Jake really spend their whole life worshiping white Jesus to the point where when they lose faith in Christianity, they lose faith in the scriptures because they think Christianity is based on the Bible. That's why we go so hard on this false doctrine known as Christianity, because people really associate that with our book. In our book, the word Christianity is not in the Bible. White Jesus is not. That's not anything that our forefathers believed in. So when you lose faith in the black church, that's a good thing. But you're not supposed to throw out. They got that saying, you throw out the baby with the bathwater. All right, the bathwater is Christianity is dirty. You're supposed to throw that out and keep the scriptures and actually read the Bible. Don't just listen to another nigga tell you what's in there. You have to read for yourself. And when you read for yourself, you're going to see that deliverance is going to come from the clouds, man. It's going to come from the sky. You got it?
Yeah, why would the Lord contradict himself when he's saying, Peter, that the Bible is of no private interpretation? So when he gave the interpretation of the only way we could be redeemed according to the Lord that he have revealed to us on the way to salvation back to him, why would he give all the prophets visions of this for it to be the wrong way to get back to him, huh?
Yeah,
that would totally contradict the entire Bible. So he gave Peter that wrong interpretation. John the Revelator on the island of Patmos, that wrong interpretation, going to Revelation, that they should be gathered 12,000 by way of the chariots, man. All right, the Lord. So you're saying the only way back to the Lord that he slipped and dropped the ball and told the prophets to write this down on the way to get back to him? Come on, man. You got to make that make sense, man.
Yeah, that's a beautiful point. A lot of our people are bugged out to this point. They'll say things like, oh, I'm spiritual, not religious, or I believe in God, but I don't believe in the Bible, or I believe in the Bible, but I think man corrupted the Bible. Why would the Lord tell a group of men to write down words and then allow some other man to come along and completely corrupt them to the point where nobody understands the book? What would be the point of the book?
Yo, he gonna corrupt his own self.
He gonna corrupt himself. There's clearly a 100% truth. Yeah, that's madness. There's a 100% truth, and it's being taught by the ministry of the prophets, which starts with the apostles of great Millstone and the men that are in like mind, that are speaking the same thing. There's only one doctrine. So when you hear someone speaking something else, that person's off. No ifs, ands, or buts. Like the brother quoted in Peter, there's no private interpretation. You got niggas that don't believe, and they can't come out and say, look, I'm a scoffer. I don't believe in them. They're not going to come out and say that. What they're going to do is say, oh, you got guys out here following those camps. Those camps are going off. The Lord's dealing with camps. He always has. All right. Moses and Aaron, that was a camp. Yahawashi and the disciples, that was a camp. The company of prophets with Obadiah, that was a camp. The Lord always deals with camp. He doesn't deal with one random nigga that's bugged out. He's so woke and he's read so many books that he's gonna sell you a documentary. That's not in the scriptures, man. But Kabar, if you can get Isaiah 31:5 to back up Kaya.
All right, so Isaiah 31 verse 5. As birds flying, so will the Lord of hosts defend Jerusalem.
As what? Hold up. As what flying?
As birds flying, so will the Lord of hosts defend Jerusalem.
Come on, keep going.
Defending also, he will deliver it, and passing over, he will preserve it.
Right. Now, the brother read in Jeremiah 16 that there's going to be a new Passover. Why? Because the chariots of salvation are also the chariots of destruction. They're going to destroy Babylon the Great. And it says, as birds flying, so will YAHAWAH, the Lord of hosts, defend Jerusalem. So our deliverance is going to come as birds flying. The chariots are going to be flying in that V-like formation and various other formations that you see birds fly in. Who controls the birds? Yahweh bahasham Yahawashi. So you're going to see chariots flying in that same, they fly in a specific pattern to keep the wind. It's like a military formation.
Yeah, it's a war formation. You back in the days of World War II and World War II and World War I, when they actually started to take flight, those different fighter jets and bombers flew in war positions, man. That's so everybody to be guarded, everybody to be on alert, And it's just like I said, and the reason why the Lord doing that too, because he's a man of war. All right, this is he's bringing you back to the true nature he is. He's a man of war, so he's putting his men, his hosts, as his army. He put them in like mind when he come back to actually bring forth destruction, man. They ain't coming back to play Uno cards with your fucking ass, man. All right, pity pat. They come to put a Hebrew foot in your ass, man. All right, It just, like I said, it sounds raw and uncut, but it's just that way, man.
Okay.
No, it is what it is. Them Chariots ain't coming back to play with nobody. All right, especially the wicked.
That's why it says, defending also he will deliver it. Like defending also, how do you defend Jerusalem? By destroying our enemies. Going back to Africa on a plane is not going to take down Esau's army. That's not going to take down Babylon the Great. That's not going to take the satellites out the sky. The Chariots are going to do that. You want to say something?
Yeah, a bird. What a bird. What the attributes of a bird is to grab something off the ground and do what? Take it to the nest, man.
Yeah.
A bird come down and get what he got to get and take off, man. All right. The same how the Lord moving. And it tell you that in Isaiah 60, it says in the NLT, what do I see like flying? See flying like clouds to Israel, like doves to their nest, man. Going to the birds are going to bring us back to the nest by the way of the chariots. That's the way the Lord want to redeem us. He can redeem us in any way or form he want, but that's what he gave unto the servants, his prophets, to deliver to the people for redemption, man. And that's it.
And
all right.
It is, man. That's why the brother read it earlier in the Wisdom of Solomon. So far beyond that they look for. You know, the Lord is far out like that. You look at the creatures and different things the Lord made. All right, the heavens. All right, the moon. It show you this man has a far out mind. All right. Look at us. Look at how our bodies. You get a cut. All right, you get a cut, a sore, a scab, it heals itself back. Who could think of something like that, man? A digestive system, what do they call it? Immune system, man. Who thinks of something like that? All right, on the Most High.
Yeah, Esau, who pats himself on the back for having all this amazing technology, he still can't surpass the Most High, man. Or he'll create a camera, but it's not as advanced as the eye. He'll create medicine that's not even as advanced as fasting. Something as simple as not eating could heal you better than some of Esau's top technology, man. But he wants you to worship him. He's telling you that the earth and the immune system, everything the elder just mentioned, those things just happen because of a random explosion and evolution over millions of years. So you're telling me you're an intelligent being, but a random explosion is smarter than you are. That doesn't even make it. That's madness, man. But Kalai, if you get a 2nd Esdras 13, we got to go into this destruction because as the brother went into, the chariots are not only the vehicle of our deliverance, but it's also the vehicle of the destruction of our enemies. And those two things are going to happen simultaneously. The same way right now, the Lord's raising up the kingdom of heaven in the land of our captivity. We standing boldly in the face of these heathen. The same thing is going to happen when he physically delivers us. He's going to physically destroy Esau, Edom.
Con. You want me to start at
verse 2?
Verse 6. Oh, con. It's 2nd Esdras 13 and 2. It says, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him.
Right. Now, when you go into Revelation 1 and 7, which we read earlier, it says, every eye shall see him. Everyone in the world is going to see the second coming of Yahawashi Mashiach. And this is describing why. Keep going.
Verse 4, it says, and whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like the earth, like as the earth faileth when it feeleth the fire. And after this I beheld, and lo, there were gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea.
Right. This is talking about the militaries of the earth, because the scripture tells you Yahawashi is going to come back with crowns on his head, many crowns, meaning he's going to take down America, Britain, Russia, China, Iran, every army that has a military, Yahawashi is going to make quick work of them. So, and these heathen know that. The elites of these heathen, they have their Bilderberg groups, they have these secret UN councils. The heathen all know who the real Israelites are, and they know who our power is. They have the records of how the Most High got down in the ancient world. putting them in captivity, and they don't want to go back. They don't want the kingdom of heaven. All right, so they're going to actually fight Yahawashi Mashiach, which our people don't believe that. You're going to fight Jesus? Who's going to fight Jesus? Well, these heathen are going to try. They're that dumb, and that's who you niggas worship. But keep going.
And then it says that when they see him, they ain't gonna want to fight, but the Lord gonna make them fight him.
That's right.
He gonna make them get down with him, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Keep going.
Verse 6, but I beheld, and lo, he had graved them. Shalakim. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew upon it.
Right, and that's not talking about a literal mountain. Like, he's not going to be flying on a giant rock. He's not going to pick up Mount Everest and fly around, which he could do that if he wanted to. But this is talking about an actual chariot, a giant fathership. Is going to be a chariot that's going to blot out the sun, and every eye is going to see. Keep going.
Independence
Day.
Yeah.
The greatest way to describe, all right, Second Ezra, the 13th chapter is the Independence Day chariot. And then guess what? The Lord are going to be bigger than that, possibly, man.
Verse 7, he says, but I would have seen the region or place without the hill was graven, and I could not.
Right. So Esdras is trying to describe something that's so wide that he can't see where it starts, where it ends. It's just as big as the horizon. You look up, and everywhere you look, that's the chariot. It's that big. That's the entrance that the Lord is coming back with. It's not going to be Delta Airlines, America Airlines. It's not going to be a plane with you and your bugged out family. You know, you got your mother-in-law, she coughing. You know, you got your brother-in-law, he's an alcoholic. You got your weird ass family, but you put him in fringes and send him on a trip to Africa, man. That's not a grand deliverance. This is going to be something so epic. Again, it's going to supersede the book of Exodus, man. Keep going.
Verse 8. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight.
Yeah, they were sore afraid, meaning they were terrified. Like I didn't train for this, you know, like that bugged out Edomite that let the lady get raped in the French Quarter. He's like, I wouldn't train for this. You know, the United States Air Force, they're trained to fight other air forces. They're not trained to fight Yahawashi Mashiach and the angels. They're not prepared to go against the power of heaven and earth. So they're going to be terrified, but the Lord's going to put the spirit on them to fight anyway. They're going to have to fight because this is the Lord's movie. He wants a climax. Keep going.
Verse 9. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor wielded sword, nor any instrument of war. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth, as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests, and they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid.
Right, this is a man of the Lord in the ancient world, which we were infinitely more austere and hard than we are today. And when he saw this, he was afraid. So imagine a giant chariot, mouth open up, just like the elder said in Independence Day. There's going to be a blast of fire and a whirlwind of fire around the blast. Like imagine a laser beam just wrapped with a tornado of fire. That's what's going to destroy these heathen. And that's that same chariot and the army of chariots around it. That's going to deliver the sons of Israel and our families if they believe. You know, if it be the Lord's will. You're going to have brothers that get delivered alone. You're going to have brothers that get delivered with their household. That's what's coming into earth, and that's what we believe in, and that's why we're so fervent in preaching the actual doctrine of the scriptures, because we believe. You have Israelites that believe somewhat. They believe the Lord is the so-called black man. They believe they're Israelite, but they don't believe in the grand deliverance of Israel. So what they do is they water down the doctrine. They're ashamed, really. They're ashamed of it. They don't want to see. To somebody with no faith, all of this sounds crazy. Everything we're saying is like, what? It's going to be a giant mountain that's going to shoot laser. What? That's crazy to a carnal-minded person. So when you have people that somewhat sort of kind of believe and they care about the opinions of the world, they'll take the truth and then water it down to make it seem like it's more palpable to somebody that doesn't believe anything. Oh yeah, yeah, we are the Israelites. We're gonna be delivered as birds flying. That's talking about getting on a plane and going back to Africa. No, it's not talking about that at all. The Lord said what He said. We're gonna be delivered through a great destruction of this place, which is gonna come from chariots and lasers. That's what's gonna happen.
To the time we was delivered out of Egypt, the Lord, He took everybody, and this particular deliverance, He didn't want everybody to understand salvation. It's really only for a remnant. The remnant is spoken about. Along with that secret is revealed unto them, man. The Lord have revealed that secret unto those that He expect, or that these men expect to be delivered of, man. That's why, bro, at this point, salvation is far-fetched to people, man. All right, nobody ain't even. You got to think about, most of the world is not even trying to get off the planet America, or whatever this is, man. People don't have no mindset to be like, man, I just want to get out of here and go to a better place. All right, or at all. People from the church, the black community, church, Christians, none of them is talking about getting delivered, man. At the end of the day. And they don't know how they're going to be delivered. So why in your mindset even, try to attempt to even try to understand your deliverance? Go ahead, Doc.
Yeah, they say they're saved already.
They say they're saved.
I'm already saved. Saved from what? You saved, but you got diabetes.
For real.
You saved, but you got credit card debt. Like, what are you talking about? What are you saved from? You got it, Bayan.
If I could add to you, like you said, our people believe 100% that, again, like you said, we are saved, and we still need to save ourselves by asking Esau to let us have more freedom. Let us rule this. Let us do this, and so on and so forth, thinking just prosperity in this wicked ass world that we in, not knowing that this shit that just really just need to be burnt up and restarted with a righteous authority.
Con, how you saved but you have a passport? You need permission from the devil to get on a plane and go wherever you want to go. You need permission to go to Jerusalem, but you're saved. You know you're an Israelite, but let's get this straight. You know you're an Israelite. You know your homeland is Jerusalem. The heathen are ruling Jerusalem, and you need permission to go to your own homeland, but you're saved. That's madness.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna get this. Yahawashi posted on the comment board in the contemporary version. Shabbat Shalawam.
Shabbat Shalawam.
I'm gonna get it in KJV and then read it in the contemporary English version. It says, Psalm 68:17. The chariots of Yahawah are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Lord is among them, as in Sinai in the holy place. And it says here in the contemporary version, when you, Yahawah power, appeared to your people at Sinai, you came with thousands of mighty chariots. And brothers know this word Lord here in the lowercase is talking about Yahawashi. All right, so the Most High Yahawah sent Yahawashi to deliver us out of ancient Egypt. So what do you think is going to happen the second time, man? He's going to send Yahawashi to deliver us out of the spiritual Egypt. All right, going back to Revelation 11. So, I mean, I don't see how you could read the book of Exodus and think that the Lord's not going to deliver His people with a mighty salvation, unless you don't believe that happened the first time. You can't believe in Exodus and then not believe in Revelation. You can't believe in Exodus and then not believe in Thessalonians. Like, what? It's the same God. The God of Israel. He's a God of great majesty. He's a God of making a statement against the heathen, declaring His name, making the heathen fear Him, making His people fear Him. How you gonna fear the Lord by getting on a plane going back to act? Like, what? Jake will read every book except the Bible, man.
And when you're trying to showcase something, you're going to go all out. So that's how the Lord's going to go all out with them chariots. He's going to showcase. He's a showstopper, man. All right? He's going to showcase His power through them chariots. All right? And many other ways, too. When it all said and done, before you get the hell out of here, you're going to see that the power of the Lord is truly real. With these different apparitions, these different plagues the Lord going to come with. And also to put the cherry on top, them cherries gonna blow a lot of people's mind. The scripture tell you that men's hearts gonna fail them. All right, at the quaking or the shaking when the Lord steps foot in this realm. All right, when that spiritual realm supersedes and comes over into this physical realm, everybody, man, there's gonna be a lot of fucked up draws out there, man. All right, it's gonna be a lot of heart attacks. It's gonna be a lot of crying and boo-hooing when they set sights on Yahawashi and them chariots zooming and doing all type of miraculous works in the heavens, man. A lot of you people gonna bug out, man. Because like this brother, initially this brother Amawad started off, all right, going into the, I think Amawad and Kaya was going into the programming of Esau. Esau has programmed you from the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and all into this in the years of 2000 and something, to think of little green men, to think of ugly ass aliens, Alien versus Predator. Remember that Alien? Alien, the movie Alien. You got you niggas thinking like that. All the while he been doing studies. The scripture tell you that this man is wiser than Daniel. This scripture tell you that this man, he really looks into things. So when he really looks into the chariots, he know that they look like us, man. These are men of brown color. All right. They are angels, man. And then they didn't know that they also, okay, the technology that they have is far beyond this world, man. All right. Far beyond. It's another guy that works on NASA was explaining how them chariots and the technology and the things that he saw in the heavens. He's like, man, ain't no way we fucking with that. Or the things that they can do and the weaponry they got, man. They know this. Esau know this. Esau don't have on the shores of on the East Coast and the West Coast. He don't have these big ass what they call them, telescopes, for a reason, man. Big super telescopes look all out into the heavens. Why he got that? Why right before Trump got out of office, he wanted to make a space force? What the fuck they gonna be doing? Right up there giving niggas tickets? Brake tags and shit? What they gonna be doing up there, man?
Yeah, for driving too fast.
Yeah, you driving too fast in the heavens, man.
Yeah, give Michael a ticket. I want to see Esau give Michael a speeding ticket, man. That's gonna be.
You know, so why does this man want a space force? Because he knows the Lord coming back, so he wants to, and hope he wants to stop before it comes in this realm, man. He wants to stop it out there in the heavens before it gets over here. But it's gonna get right to his doorsteps, man. Okay, you had something?
Con, I got your precept right here. I had paraphrased it earlier. I'll just bring it out since you're back on the topic. It's Zechariah, the 5th chapter, verse 1. It says, "Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll." Now, one would think that that's talking about a flying dinner roll. When it's talking about, it's like you roll up a scroll, it's oblong. It says, "And he said unto me, What seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll, and the length thereof was 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof was 10 cubits. So it was longer than it was wide." It says, "Then said he unto me, This is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth."
Real quick, I'm gonna walk those cubics and the cubics in a sense, because I forgot the number. I forgot the number off the top of the dome, but it's a real big ass chariot, man. All right, in size and length.
Yeah, it says in the NLT that it's 30 feet long and 15 feet wide. It's a lot longer than that.
Con.
So that's bigger than your average school bus. That's bigger than 18-wheeler with a trailer in the back of that shit, man. All right, 30 feet and whatever.
About 15 feet.
Yeah, that's big, man.
Con.
Go ahead.
It said, "For everyone that stealeth shall be cut off as on this side according to it, and everyone that sweat shall be cut off as on the side according to it.
Cut off by being put to death, man. You know.
That's right. And it said, everyone that's, go ahead, Salaki, brother.
Like it. They're actually coming to slay the wicked, man. The wicked of our people, and the wicked of Esau, Edom, and the other nations. All right. Like I said earlier, them chariots is not coming back to play with anybody, man. Especially those that are not written in the book. You are marked for death. And then I'm gonna say this, and that the angels don't want to get, and they purposely probably don't want to get you. The missiles gonna get you, man. It's all instantaneous before everything goes kapoof over here, man. All right, because you were still reading that 30. You were still reading that 13 in of Ezra, right?
Yeah, I'm still in it.
And even when you go down past the main point, it tell you that some people gonna come bound, some people gonna come being happy and everything like that. It's gonna go into it though, just to make the point.
You want me to get it?
Yo, you can finish all the way out. I'm gonna had you do it. He wants you to read it, whatever.
I think we stopped at verse 12. Let me pick up right there. I'm what?
Come. You got it.
In the second Ezra 13 and 12, it says, afterward I saw the same man come down from the mountain and call unto him another peaceable multitude. And there came much people unto him, whereof some were glad, some were sorry, some of them were bound, and other some brought of them that were offered. Then was I sick throughout great fear and awake, and said, Thou hast shewed thy servant these wonders from the beginning, and hast counted me worthy that thou shouldest receive my prayer.
So let's get all the meat off that bone. All right, you have a peaceable multitude, which is talking about the elect of the nation of Israel. You have people that were bound, which is talking about the heathen. That Abaradazah, all the brothers that you see on your screen, will have that number. We're going to be binding the heathen in chains, man. We're going to be putting them in physical hardcore bondage. It says there were some that were sorry. Or you have Israelites that are going to be preserved from the destruction, and they're going to loathe themselves because they're not right, man. All right, they're not going to be a part of the great. They're not going to be changed. All right, the Israelites that get brought up into the chariots, they're going to be changed. But you're going to have Israelites that, mainly a lot of these niggas through the spirit. I wouldn't even think about this, but a lot of these Israelites that go to Africa, they're going to be delivered from the missiles just to get put to death, man. If you a nigga in America, you a Babylonian nigga, you go over to Africa, the destruction of Babylon is not going to touch you. But the men of the Lord, hey, judgment is going to go out one way or the other, man. You're going to have Israelites all over the world that are going to be alive when New Jerusalem comes down, man. And they got to see, hey, that bring hither and slay over before me, that's going to be a lot of you niggas. You got it out.
Hey, it's a lot of work to do after we get saved. It's like a lot of, brother, like it's a lot of prophecy would get upset if just the chariots alone don't save us out. Like there's more work to do. We have to come down. We have to get the rebels. Like it's a lot of things that gotta happen, man. It's like it will make the Bible totally nullified, brother. You got it, bro. Yeah, it's things beyond salvation. Like the end all be all is not just the. That's why it says, "Come up hither, though yet it be for but a moment." All right, because we gotta come down. Abarat we those men, man. Okay, we understand the salvation part, but there's a working after the salvation, man. We got to purge out the rebels, man. We got to bind the kings and fetters and chains. We got to get them out the mountains, man. It's work to do, man.
Yeah.
All right. You got it, bro.
Yeah, salvation is not the end of our story. It's the beginning.
It's not.
That's the kingdom of heaven. We teach all the time, if the kingdom is going to be here on earth, that means it's got to be built from the ground up. We got work to do.
You got work to do. Right.
Yeah, that's a whole nother lesson right there. But we
come
running it. But if a brother had anything else.
Yeah, I just want to add a little bit. Like I said, hey, with the chariots and everything, it's part of eating that whole roll, and that's a stumbling block to Jake, man.
Mm-hmm.
But the chariots and having dark-skinned men and these chariots actually operating it like the angels and things. That's part of that whole role. And so you got to eat it, and preach it, man.
And like the brother Amawai started off, that's why back then, going into 2008, 2009 on up, like he said, we, the apostles, including the brother that was out teaching, we ain't going into that with niggas because it'll bug them out back then, man. Jacob be all warped in the mind, fucked up, because you're going into something that they, for one, case in point, the majority of people in America are not spiritual, man. In order to understand those characters, in order to understand Ezekiel, the first chapter, the will within the will, one would have to be very spiritual, very of understanding what it's talking about, man. How the angels operate and move, how they naturally look as an angel. We can go in many things, but it goes over Jake's head because Jake is not spiritual. Jake is a plain, really. Jake is carnal. When you're carnal, they gotta see it to believe it. That's why they always say what they say those things, man. But we don't have to see it. We actually believe because the scripture says so. All right.
Faith.
Yeah, faith, man.
Faith.
And they're not.
That's the difference between salvation.
And them chariots are really not revealed to those who don't have faith, There are times where we'll see a chariot and our, family members, what you talking about? They can't see it.
Just like the truth.
Huh?
Just like this truth.
Yeah.
They got the same Bible in their house that we got. They can't see it.
Yeah, I remember when this brother up here, Kalaya, he's that way. He's that way right there. The other side. That brother, when he first came out, we had a chicken bandit around us, but hey, the Lord showed a chariot, man. It came in this realm slow. It's like it's going fast and slowed down in slow motion, just so you can see it, and went back out of this realm, man. All right. And those things, like I said, we don't necessarily see things like that when you was in the world, man. You didn't see no terrorists and shit, man. Only when you had to understand these scriptures and fully understood it, that all came to you, or also come to us. The Lord has to deal with you. You don't choose the Lord; the Lord chooses you. And like I said, once you get chosen, you put on the goggles. Like as my man, what his name is, the old man.
Gregory.
Like you said, once the universe choose you, you put on those goggles, you can never take those goggles off. And everything, you start everything for what they truly are. Through the spirit, man. And it so happened that men on this camera tonight, other men, other apostles, other elders, we see those chariots, man, for what they are. We see these scriptures for what they are. Truth, guidance, all right, instructions on how to, get the hell on out of here, man. Okay, you got it, Doc.
God, yeah, this truth, man. You gotta, like Samaki referenced earlier, you gotta eat the whole roll. You can't just take parts and the bits and parts that make you feel good, the bits and parts that appease your ego. Yeah, we the chosen people, Judah. You gotta the whole thing, man. You have to believe wholeheartedly in the chariots. That is how Yahawashi is coming back. That is how he's going to deliver us. That is how he's going to completely destroy Esau's army. So if you don't believe in the chariots, you don't believe in the truth. There's no salvation without the chariots. So Abaratazah, this lesson was edifying to the elect. We're going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawashi. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and Shabbat Shalawam to the hopeful elect. Shabbat Shalawam.
Shabbat Shalawam.